Hey guys, so welcome to the bonus episode, our additional weekly content that we put out exclusively on YouTube. I am Chris Schaefer, and with me, as always, is my my co-host, Jason Rothman. And today we're going to talk about the scary, not scary, and it just depends on whether you've been through it before, but the AdWord certification exam. Jason, I know you've taken it plenty of times. It's certainly something that I find that people are kind of mystified about it. There's a whole, like what is this? Is it hard? Is it really? Do a lot of people fail? Jason, have you ever failed the exam before?
Yes, I've failed one of I think the mobile exam because I'm not too familiar with in-app advertising, and I believe I got like a 78% out of 80, or out of 100%. You got to get an 80, and I'm just looking at the page here, Chris. A lot of different exams they got going on when you're in the Google Partners portal here. You have the AdWords exams. There's 6 of them. Analytics exams. There's now digital sales, and then also mobile sites. So there's a lot of exams, and I think specifically what you and I are going to focus on are the AdWords exams.
Yeah, exactly. So to explain what this is all about, basically, if you're unfamiliar with the AdWords exam, and the reason you would take this certification exam for AdWords is because it is the step to become a Google partner, as you can see on my wall behind me. You want to be a Google partner because Google partners have additional abilities and access to tools and a special listing on the Google partners site, for your ability to help manage campaigns for clients. So this is one of the first things you would do to become a Google partner is to pass the fundamentals exam, and then one additional other higher level AdWords exam. So Jason, you want to run through some of the stuff and help scare off some of this mystifying mystery?
Yeah, sure. So I think
exam.
The first thing people need to understand is you won't become a Google partner or, like myself, a Google Premier partner just by passing the exams. There's other things with like how much spend you manage, how long you've been certified, all that kind of stuff. But you have to be certified, and getting certified means taking and passing a couple of these exams. So one thing to keep in mind here, Chris, is that you can actually study for the exams. I know a lot of people don't like to do that, but in your Google Partners platform, in the exam areas, they link to modules, study guides. And Chris, those really are great. And if you just take the time to study them, eventually you should do fine on the exam. So all the answers are out there. It's Google gives you everything, but they give it in a study guide, and they teach you how to answer the questions, what they're looking for, and it's all in the study guides. And so my biggest tip, Chris, and it worked for me, was to really study the study guides. I think like years and years ago, when I was just getting started, I was super excited about the Google Partners badge. I was like, man, if I get this, that's everything to me at the time. And so I actually did nothing for a week, but studied those exams.
Wow.
Studied those guides in preparation for the exam. And I'm putting myself back in my shoes back then. And I don't look at it now as a big deal, at the exams as a big deal, but I did back then the first time. So I definitely see where people are coming from. And for me, whenever I'm worried about something, I always go into prepare mode. And I just studied those things for a week. I read through them all over and over and wrote stuff down. And that's my number one tip, is to go straight for the study guides.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jason, our listeners our watchers, our viewers are, in the test, and they might want to know, so what is the test like? What experience can they expect? So first thing I'll say is that there are 100 questions. Okay, that has not always been the case. There's not always been that many questions. There's certainly been a lot less questions, but they've ramped it up to 100 now.
For the AdWords fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like search and display are 100, then video, mobile 70, and shopping is 63.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, for this conversation, I'm talking about just what you would need to become certified.
Gotcha. AdWords fundamentals, search advertising.
Fundamentals and search and the search exam. So
Gotcha.
The next thing is 100 questions is a lot. There is a time limit. Number two is you have plenty of time. There's plenty of time to
relax.
I mean,
everybody.
I've been able to just walk away and take a break, look at my phone for a little bit, walk away from it. And,
I went to the bathroom, Chris.
Yeah. I mean, because there's so much time. But I would not say there's enough time for you to look up every question. I mean,
I don't think so, no.
there's not so much time that you'd be able to look it up, but you have plenty of time to do it. And by the way, if you're thinking, well, I'll just have another computer right next to me and look up these questions. These questions are written in a way that they are not necessarily Googleable, right? You can't just search them and get answers to them. You have to know some type of fundamental basic information in order to make these decisions, because these are word questions. Right. They are not numbers or calculations. They're not going to ask you to calculate click-through rate. They're going to ask you to make decisions based on performance and decisions based on marketing objectives and networks and things like that.
As the AdWords manager in a lot of cases, because Google wants their partners who represent them basically to small and big businesses to know what they're doing with AdWords. So from what I recall, Chris, is you'll get questions like, Joe Bob is the owner of this tire store. He's hired you to manage his AdWords campaigns. The CPC so far has been $10, and his cost per conversion is $20. He wants more conversions. What would your move be? Stop showing ads on the search network, raise the CPC, pause a bunch of keywords, lower the CPC. And in that case, just hypothetically, I'd probably say raise the CPC, get more conversions if he's happy with that CPA and can go up from there. But that's not something you can just Google in 20 seconds. You have to kind of understand, they're telling me a client's goals, they're giving me data. How do I adjust the data to meet the client's goals? And that's a job in a nutshell. Yeah. So I do think it is a very useful exam in terms of, like, if you can answer those kind of questions and think through them, you can do a good job as an AdWords manager in terms of knowing what to do, and then of course how to do it in the account. That's a little bit different, and that's a different skill set. But understanding what you're doing and why you're doing it, that's kind of what I think they're looking for out of the exam.
And the good news is you can miss, if there's 100 questions on here, you can miss 20 of them and still pass. Passing grade is 80%. So you could miss, 20 of the questions and still get a passing grade and maintain certification. The next thing you probably need to know is that there is no cost to do this. Formerly, there had been a cost in the past, but there is no cost anymore. It's completely free to anybody who wants to take the exam certification, and you have to do it once a year. Jason and I are both partners. We've gone past the certification. We meet the qualifications for Premier Partner status, and we no longer, are at the certification level, but we still have to go back once a year and retake our tests. So no matter what level you're at, you'll still have to take those tests, go back to the fundamentals, and answer those questions. So, with a certain amount of time, just like Jason and I, we don't really have to worry much about it, because I just took my test last week, my fundamentals exam, and made 92, and just kind of just went through it pretty quick. It was very casual. It was not, I don't find it to be difficult at all. Once you've been working in AdWords, these type of things are pretty much second nature to you. You understand them. So I wouldn't say that you need to be that concerned. If you have any type of working knowledge of AdWords that you have maybe a year experience, then you would certainly, I think, be able to answer these questions with some pretty good authority.
Right. And my final tip here, Chris, is to not procrastinate. Take the exam. If you fail the exam, which we all have at one point, you can retake it in a relatively short time period. I don't remember the exact amount of days or whatever, but it's a short time period. And the best way to understand what this exam is after, what kind of questions are going to be on there, how to prepare for it, is to take it, get experience taking it, see how you do. And if you don't get to 80%, study the guides a little bit more, think about how the test went, and then come back in a few weeks or whatever the time limit is and retake it.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Well, Yeah, I think you know, there's no reason to be scared of it. No cost, no real penalty for failing it. You know, Jason failed it, and look at him. You know, he started at the bottom, now he's on
Look
top.
at this tie,
so,
Chris.
yeah, he's wearing a tie on YouTube. You know, so you obviously have to be a certain level of professionalism and success in order to do that. So thanks for watching. We are Chris Schaefer, Jason Rothman, part of the Paid Search Podcast. And you can catch us every week on our full episode where we talk about all kinds of things about Google AdWords and how to get better at it and how to learn how to drive more value out of Google AdWords. So Jason, thank you for your comments, and thank you guys for subscribing, leaving comments, liking this video, and we'll catch you next week.